Okay, so here we go. We're going to go through this one more time, and I'm going to be teaching you why we're doing what we're doing, why I'm asking what I'm asking, how it helps you, helps the prospect, and then it also helps them want to work with you. Okay, so here we go. So the first question is, it's really a statement. Tell me a little bit about your business. And again, if you're some other sort of coach, you could say, well, tell me about your relationship. If you're a dating coach, a relationship coach. Or if you are a weight loss coach, well, tell me about, your current weight situation, something like that. Where are you at with in terms of your weight loss? So just having them tell you a little bit about themselves or a little bit about their situation is really good. It starts building that rapport. There's the 5 steps to this whole process. Step 1 is creating rapport. So this is that step. Really, it's just this question starts off the rapport. Gets people feeling comfortable, gets people talking. The more they're talking, the better. We need to be careful with this part because it could be, they could go on for an hour, especially as a dating coach. You could say, well, tell me about your relationship. Blah, 2 hours later, right? Then you could go to the next question. So we need to be careful with that. And feel free to interrupt people as you're having this conversation. Just say, you know what, hold on one second here. I just want to get clear. I want to make sure we get through this whole thing in the time that we've got. So I'm going to move on to the next question, which is, if you could wave a realistic magic wand, where would you like to be a year from now? Now, what's beautiful about this question is it's a realistic magic wand, so it's not like crazy fantasy. If you're a business coach and you say, hey, if you could wave a magic wand, where would you like to be? People will be like, oh, I want to be a billionaire by next week, right? But a realistic magic wand kind of tempers that a little bit, but also gets you sort of thinking more creatively. Like, well, hold on, where would I really like to go? Now, if you're a weight loss coach, if you are a dating coach, if you are a career coach, then you're probably going to want to do a 6-month coaching program or 6-month package. Why? Well, it could take a year for somebody to get into a relationship. Heck, it could take 4 years. I mean, I was single for 4 years and dating and dating and dating. And actually, I hired a coach to help me with my dating situation. And then 4 months later, I met my wife, and we've been together for 10 years. I was dating for 4 years. So, it took me 4 years. But really, the coaching was powerful and helped me make the shifts I needed to make to get the results I was looking for. But who knows how long it would take for somebody to get into a relationship? It could take a year. It could take a month, right? It could take a week. But a year feels unreasonable. Like, I don't know if I want to pay for a year of coaching. That just makes me feel like it's going to take a year to get into a relationship, and I don't want to do that. On the other hand, if somebody had sold me 6 months of coaching, even if I got into the relationship 4 months in, or even in the very first month, what else needs to happen to lay that foundation to make sure it's a great relationship moving forward? As a dating coach, it's like, okay, great. Well, it might only take a month, it might only take, 5 months, or it might take 4. Who knows how long it's going to take? But the bottom line is we're going to make sure that you're doing all the things that you need to do and working on all the things you need to work on to get into the relationship that you're looking for. So dating or career, gosh, to take a whole year to get you into your dream career feels like a long time. If it took a year and you got there, would it be worth it? Yes. I think for most people it would, of course. But, people don't want to have to think that it's going to take a year. And probably for most people it wouldn't take a year. Same thing with dating. It probably wouldn't take a year. For some people it might, right? And depending on if you're a weight loss coach, depending on how much weight somebody needs to lose, maybe you should do a year. If somebody needs to lose, 200 pounds or something, then I would sign them up for a year. But if somebody wants to lose 15 pounds, maybe even in that case you might do a 90-day coaching or whatever. And just base it on what the kind of results, the kind of coaching you do and the kind of results people are looking for. But I'll leave it up to you. But we want to actually have people imagine the amount of time that is the same amount of time that you work with them. So if you could wave a realistic magic wand, where would you like your business to be in the next 12 months? Or where would you like to be in the next 12 months? So when you start thinking about what you want, it helps you get clarity. It also helps you get more emotionally connected to the things that you want. And emotions are what drive us, right? And even if the clients don't end up hiring us, by getting very clear and very excited about what they want to achieve, and very clear and in pain about the things that are holding them back, the more motivated they're going to be to go forward and actually get make the changes and get the results that they want. So this is a very powerful process. It's also very valuable for the prospect. So our intent here, by asking this question, is to get them clear on what they want and get them excited about it. So we might ask them again, what else would you like to achieve in the next 12 months? What else would be really great for you to achieve? Now, for me as a business coach, I've noticed, when I started off coaching anybody on anything, and eventually I became a business coach, and then about 10 years ago, I started focusing exclusively on helping coaches because they were getting such powerful results so quickly using using free sessions that sell and all the other things that took me a long time to figure out and create. So when I coached a lot of business owners, a lot of them would have financial goals. Like 90% would have some financial numbers in there, and maybe 10% wouldn't. And when I moved over and started coaching more coaches, it was almost the opposite. Like 90% of them had goals that were about, I want to write a book, or I want to create a program, or I want this number of clients, and I want to have these groups going, with no major financial goal. So that's something to be aware of. So we want to keep asking the questions, especially the questions that are going to get us what we want. So in my example, I want to get to, well, how much money would you like to make? Because that's going to be very important. If somebody only wants to make $20,000 in their coaching business, they're not going to be a great prospect for me. They're not going to be a great client for me. For me, especially at the fee levels that I charge, I need somebody who wants to make $1 million a year or more, or at least $500,000 a year. I mean, you can kind of justify paying $250,000 to me to help you get $500,000, right? Or, even less, maybe potentially. I mean, again, it would put you on the course to making, $250,000 this year. It's a 1-to-1. Maybe you don't make any net profit, but it gets you on course so that every year from now on you're going to make $250,000 or more, right? So there's still ways to justify it. And honestly, the profound impact that coaching can have in people's lives is priceless. But it's easier to justify. So we need people to have a big goal. Now, it doesn't have to be justifiable financially, like mathematically, right? If somebody wants to lose weight, you can justify things mathematically too, by the way. But there's both sides of it, right? There's the same thing with the coaching business. Like, well, living your dream, what's the value of that? Or dying with your song still in you. Like, what's the pain of that? Like, we don't want that to happen, right? So with losing weight, it's like, well, what's all the things why do you really want to lose all this weight? What's really going on here? Like, how much does it feel like it sucks for you to be at the weight you're at, right? And how awesome would it be if you were as thin as you'd like to be? There's the emotional side of that, which is the value. I mean, that's a huge value, maybe the greatest value. But then there's the mathematical. You can justify it. Even at $250,000 for somebody to work with me, if you wanted to lose weight and keep it off forever, I think it's worth it. Now doesn't mean everybody could pay it, but if you really wanted to lose all the weight and keep it off forever, and if you're at a place financially where you could, even if it's a stretch, but you could maybe make that happen, especially with full pay, $175,000, right? Like, to me, I think we could mathematically add up that it's going to be worth that, right? I mean, what's the cost if we don't get this handled? Because this isn't just about losing weight. This is about your health. This is about your energy. This is about, you could die early. If you're really overweight, you might be suffering from diabetes and all kinds of other diseases, which could cost all sorts of medical expenses. Could be really high. It could put you in higher insurance brackets. Like, there could, over the course of the rest of your life, could this add up to more than $250,000 or more than $500,000? This could be a very expensive problem for someone. And this is justifying it at the $250,000 level. Can you imagine if you're just charging $5,000 for 6 months of weight loss coaching? That would be very easy to justify, right? So I don't want you to think that just financially we can justify it, but we can justify it emotionally, and even if it's not just a business coaching, if you're dating coaching, you can justify it financially too. If you're coaching women, you talk about all these guys that are going to be taking you out on dates. Well, what is, that saves you money from having to go out to eat, right? Or, if you get into a great relationship, especially with somebody who's a great provider, like, that could change your whole financial destiny, right? So these are things that we can work into our free sessions that sell and work into our conversations, and may be useful at the end when we're overcoming objections. But these are also questions that we want to bring into this whole mix. So I know we're really just on this first question of, if you could wave a realistic magic wand, where would you like your business to be, or where would you like XYZ? Where would you like to be in the next 12 months? But it's really important to tie this in, that our goal is to get them clear about what they want and excited about it. Okay? We want to have the timeline match with what we're wanting to do here with our clients, right? And then we want to keep asking the questions till we get all the answers. We want to get totally clear. If you're a dating coach, you might ask, what kind of a man would you like to attract? And then you might ask, what kind of a relationship would you guys like to have together? So this is, again, very niche specific here. But by doing it this way, now you get clarity about the guy that she wants to be and then the kind of relationship that she wants to have. Now, by having this clarity, bam, that's valuable because now she's more likely to have it, and she's more likely to really go for it because she's going to be excited to, like, oh my God, that would be so amazing if I had an amazing man like that in my life. And we keep asking till we get all the information. Once we've got the info, then we ask them the next question, which is, if you had all this in just the way that you'd like to, what would that do for you? And now here what's happening is we're trying to help them get clear. So we're eliciting their desires in the first question, and now we're getting clearer about what's the impact of this. What would it do for you to have this? So you want this thing, the man or the woman or the thin body or the business or whatever the thing. You want this, right? But then you also want to, it's the impact of it, right? Like, what is it going to do for you to really finally be thin? Oh, I'm going to feel more confident. I'm going to finally get into a great relationship. Maybe I'll get raises and promotions at work, because people judge me for being fat, or, whatever the impact is. I'll have more energy. I'll feel inspired. I'll want to wake up every morning. I can't wait to go to work. Asking that question and getting these answers about, what would they find, what would it do for them? That is very valuable for them because it gets them more clarity, gets them more present, makes it more real for them. And of course, then the more stuff we can weigh, it's like there's scales between getting really motivated to make the changes and then all the stuff that's kind of keeping them from having the changes. If we can get these scales to really tip, then no matter how much your coaching fee is, it may just, at $250,000, for some people there's just no way that that's going to happen. But for somebody who it could happen, those scales, even with that fee, it still is going to outweigh over here, is going to outweigh it. We need it to wait even without the coaching fees. There's if you want to lose, somebody wanted to lose weight, well, they already want to lose weight. Maybe all those reasons are here, but over here on this side, it's exercise, diet, starvation, deprivation. So there's already, it's tough, right? Already the scales are already tipped the wrong way. Otherwise, they'd probably already have what they want, right? So now we get them really clear. We get them really excited. We get them, the desires are really, we're eliciting the desires. We're putting more and more stuff on this side of the scale. We're trying to really get that scale tipped over, not only to hire us, but just for them to make the changes at all, right? So we ask, if you had all this in just the way that you'd like to have it, what would it do for you? Well, it would help me do this. It would help me do that. It would help me do this. And all those things are like putting more stuff on this side of the scale and taking, and outweighing the stuff that's holding them back. And then we ask, well, what would be the best part about having that? And then it's like, oh my gosh, out of all these amazing things, let me evaluate. Is this amazing thing the thing that's most valuable? Is this amazing thing the thing that's most valuable? Whoa, actually the thing that would be most valuable about all this would just be have this be no longer be an issue. To just be living a life where this is just who I am now, I'm my thin best self, or just, the thing that would be most valuable is to wake up every morning next to that person that I love and, smile every day and just know that I'm secure in a relationship and I'm taken care of for the rest of my life, or whatever it might be. Or the best part about this is that I'm actually making a big impact on the world. Not only am I making lots of money, but I can hire more people and impact those people's lives, and then those people can impact other people, and we can just change the whole world. Whatever the thing is, right, that is the best thing, that's going to be a very heavy rock on this side of the scales.